It's Wednesday, September 7th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news for you today. Frank Renito joins us, of course, with the forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update. And later on, Donald Lang will take a look back on this day in history. But first, on to today's headlines. In an update on a story that we brought you yesterday, Wilton police have ruled out that a golf club or a baseball bat were used during an altercation at the Wilton football field between students from Ridgefield and Wilton back on August 31st. In a statement to the Wilton Bulletin, Lieutenant Stephen Brennan said no arrests would be made at this time in that fight. Back on Friday, a Ridgefield football player was sent to the hospital, on Wednesday night after a fight between two groups of students, one from Ridgefield and one from Wilton. Wilton police confirmed earlier last Friday that Ridgefield students went down to Wilton High as part of a scavenger hunt for seniors. Sources said one of the items on the scavenger hunt was to urinate on Wilton High's football field, and that ended up spurring the conflict. But you can get updates on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And in other news today, there were no fatal crashes on Connecticut highways over the holiday weekend, but state police did arrest 51 drivers for DUI and investigated 43 accidents that caused injuries. According to state police statistics for the Labor Day weekend, there were several sobriety checkpoints on state roads. And during that enforcement time, troopers patrolled in both marked and unmarked cruisers. Troopers focused on drunk driving violations, aggressive drivers, as well as distracted drivers and speeding. In total, 1,699 tickets were issued for speeding. Another 3,552 tickets were given out for a number of violations, including unsafe lane changes, texting, and talking on the phone, and 283 accidents were investigated. And in other news, a New Haven man was charged Friday in connection to a hit-and-run incident that killed an Ansonia bicyclist back in December 2015 along Bridgeport Avenue in Shelton. On September 2nd, 36-year-old Ryder Kingsley of New Haven surrendered himself to Shelton police at their headquarters, where he was then charged with negligent homicide with a motor vehicle and evading responsibility in connection with the hit-and-run accident that killed avid bike rider Brian Buzz Klimas back on December 23rd. Klimas was the husband of 32 years to Karen Klimas, a father of 3 children, and he had 1 grandchild. A white spray-painted bike, or ghost bike, has since been set up along Bridgeport Avenue as a memorial to Klimas. Family and friends say it is also a reminder to passing motorists to share the road. And in Milford, 2 men were arrested September 3rd, charged with stealing tires off of cars at Courtney Honda on Bridgeport Avenue at about 3:45 in the morning. Milford police officers were dispatched to Courtney Honda in the early morning hours on a report of suspicious men walking around the lot. While en route to the scene, officers were notified that video surveillance being viewed by a staff member who was off-site showed 2 men taking tires off of cars in the lot and leaving the cars on cinder blocks. Officers established a perimeter, forcing the suspects to attempt to hide in the lot. And using the department K-9 team, Officer Owens and K-9 Czar, police contained the suspects and shortly thereafter apprehended 30-year-old Luis Rodriguez of New Haven and 29-year-old Ishmael Mercado, also of New Haven. Both were taken into custody. Mercado was reportedly treated on the scene for an injury sustained when he attempted to run from K-9 Czar, and he was later brought to the emergency room for further evaluation. Rodriguez and Mercado attempted to take $4,000 worth of tires and did approximately $500 worth of damage to a fence, which they gained entry to the lot in. More on that story at milfordmirror.com. And the Connecticut Post reports that 2 teenagers have been charged with firing into a backyard party in Bridgeport over the weekend, wounding 2 women and a 9-year-old boy. 19-year-old Owen Hines and 18-year-old Tavon Reed, both of Bridgeport, were charged Monday with 3 counts each of first-degree assault, reckless endangerment, as well as illegal use of a firearm and failure to have a pistol permit. They were each being held in lieu of $750,000 bonds. On Saturday, police said there was a family gathering in the backyard of a home on Anson Street when the 2 defendants began firing at partygoers. 1 woman was shot in the chest and is in critical condition at St. Vincent's Medical Center. A second woman was in good condition after being shot in the thigh, and police say a 9-year-old boy was hit in both legs and the abdomen with bullet fragments, but was in good conditions. One of the partygoers chased the defendant to a house on Whitney Avenue where police say Reed's mother lives. Police said witnesses told them that the previous night, one of the partygoers had gotten into a dispute with one of the defendants. And in other news, after a Guilford woman crashed her vehicle into a tree, a man pulled her from the car as it burst into flames, according to police. 3 dogs were reportedly also inside the vehicle at the time of that crash yesterday. Branford police said firefighters responded to that fiery crash just after 6:30 p.m., according to Captain Jeffrey Morgan. A Guilford man pulled a woman from her vehicle after she struck that tree. Police Sergeant Philip Ramey said the operator of the vehicle, 69-year-old Katarina Russell Agrill of the Post Road, told investigators that she was traveling south on Blackstone Avenue when she lost control of the car. Paramedics from the Branford Fire Department treated Russell Agrill for a leg injury, and she was transported to a medical facility for further evaluation. Additionally, Branford Animal Control officers responded to take custody of the 3 dogs who were also in the vehicle. One of those dogs was treated for minor injuries. But switching gears now, we're going to throw it over to Frank Granito to take a look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Temperatures will be in the mid to high 80s today, with humidity starting to rise up again this afternoon as we head towards the end of the week. Partly sunny throughout the day with a chance for a couple of scattered showers here and there. Won't be as windy as yesterday, but we will still have a steady breeze, and we could see some gusts of up around 20 miles per hour. Partly cloudy overnight with temperatures in the high 60s. Humidity again should be right around 60 to 65%. Thursday will be mostly sunny throughout the day. Temperatures in the high 80s and humidity really going to start to climb up then. Wind gusts will die down, but we'll see some cloud cover that moves in later on that evening. It'll be partly cloudy overnight, warm and humid, and there could be a chance for a couple scattered thunderstorms before Friday morning. Friday will be the warmest day of the week, mostly sunny skies all day, but temperatures will get back into the 90s with the humidity. Could feel as high as 96 or 97. It'll be very humid all day long from morning and until the early evening as we get set for the FCX season football kickoff.
All right, looking forward to that, Frank. But we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, Donald Ang will take a look back on this day in history. Frank has a Nutmeg Sports update, and we have more local news coming up after this. Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Hi, this is Leo Carl from Carl Chevrolet in New Canaan. And you've heard me talk about the Chevy Volt for years. The new model gets 53 miles on EV charge daily, plus 420-mile full range. But don't take my word for it. You need to come in and test drive the Volt yourself. Visit us at 261 Elm Street in New Canaan or online at carldirect.com.
Back to school means back to busy, and Stewart's Market can save you precious time by stocking all of your favorite essentials under one roof. For a healthy start to school, we have all the ingredients. Walter Stewart's, your family-owned fresh local market, 229 Elm Street and at stewartsmarket.com.
At the Ridgefield Suzuki School, we believe that every child can. Using the internationally recognized Suzuki method, children learn to play their instrument in an environment of encouragement, parental support, and community. The Suzuki approach seeks to develop the whole child, to help unfold his or her natural potential to learn. Private lessons and group classes are offered on violin, viola, cello, and piano for children ages 4 and up, and young children can enroll in their school's early childhood classes before beginning an instrument. The Ridgefield Suzuki School, nurturing a love of music in all children. Call us at 203-403-2667 or visit ridgefieldSuzukiSchool.com.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State?
Join Kate Czaplinski
And Josh Fisher
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to each week.
With the help of HAN's editorial cartoonist Doug Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN Network.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. More than 1.5 million viewers have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment broadcasting since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We're back on this Wednesday, September 7th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and it's time to throw it over to Donald Eng to take a look back on this day in history. Don, I can't wait to see if my guesses for today are correct. Let me know.
Well, I suspect it was a pivotal day on this day for some of the folks on this side of the studio. But first we go to 1812, the Battle of Borodino, the bloodiest battle of the Napoleonic Wars, and there were a lot of battles in the Napoleonic era, fought near Moscow, resulting in a French victory, but at a tremendous cost. In 12 hours of fighting, the two armies combined to lose 75,000 men killed or wounded. To put that in perspective, the armies combined, the total casualty count was greater than the combined casualties of the Battle of Antietam, all 3 days of Gettysburg, and D-Day combined. To 1896, an electric car built by the Riker Electric Company wins the first auto race in the United States at the Narragansett Trotting Park, a mile-long dirt oval in Narragansett. About 60,000 fairgoers attended the event, and the Riker was one of 2 electric cars competing against 5 gas engine vehicles. It completed 5 laps in just under 15 minutes. The other electric car, by the way, came in second. 1996, 20 years ago, actor and hip-hop recording artist Tupac Shakur shot in Las Vegas, Nevada after attending the Mike Tyson-Bruce Seldon match. Shakur was riding in a black BMW with Death Row Records founder Suge Knight when a white Cadillac pulled alongside and fired into Shakur's car. That photo actually taken just moments before the event. Although Shakur's killer was never identified, some believe Orlando Anderson, a member of the LA Southside Crips, was responsible since Knight had attacked him earlier that day. Anderson himself was shot to death in 1998. And finally, now we go to 1979 for this.
Now, I'm still not sure just exactly how it works, but here's a man who can show us. Bill Rasmussen, board chairman of ESPN, who along with his son Scott put it all together.
Years ago, tales of Jules Verne and Buck Rogers were made of dreams and wild bits of imagination. Today, modern technology has taken those dreams and that imagination and turned it into a reality that allows us to bring a television picture into your home via satellite. The picture you're watching right now has been taken by a camera sent through some sophisticated equipment to this Earth transmitting station, which in turn feeds a satellite located 22,300 miles above the equator just south of Hawaii. The satellite receives the picture, sends it to an Earth station near your home, which in turn takes the picture over cable into your living room set. Total elapsed time, 1/5 of 1 second.
Day in 1979, the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, we call it ESPN, made its debut on cable television. The initial broadcast, as you've just seen, included founder Bill Rasmussen, the father of Rasmussen Reports' Scott Rasmussen, explaining how satellite television worked. You know, now that I watch it, the late Gene Wilder pretty much got the description right in Willy Wonka. But anyway, that is your look back in history for today, September 7th, and I'm Donald Eng.
Don, there was just too much history today. I only got one of my guesses accurate.
There were a lot to choose from. I know.
It
was tough for me too.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Don. In other news today, the New Canaan Fire Department extinguished a small fire that they found in the attic roof of a commercial building on 96 Main Street on Labor Day. That, according to Fire Marshal Fred Baker. The fire had been partially extinguished by the building's sprinkler system, Baker told the Advertiser. The photo you're seeing was taken yesterday, a day after the fire was extinguished. There were no injuries. Firefighters responded to a reported odor of smoke in the building at about 7:50 p.m. and upon arrival found smoke coming from the building and water running down a front stairwell. The department used a ladder truck to get to the roof, and electrical power to the building was shut off due to water damage. The department was finished at the scene and extinguished the fire by about 10 o'clock that evening. But more on that story at ncadvertiser.com. Let's throw it back to Frank now for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Fairfield Prep has hired their next head lacrosse coach, and they have chosen Graham Niemi, a former Yale University assistant coach. I just want to coach really good players, Niemi said, and they certainly have an incredible tradition that Coach Smelkis has built over the years. That was a quote from Niemi following the hiring Tuesday morning. Niemi said that he feels it's important to keep up the Jesuits' schedule as strong as it has been outside of the SEC. Expect to see some FCIAC teams mixed in there as well. The best players want to go out and play against the best teams. Niemi said, who has been a coach at Yale for the past 13 years as the D coordinator for 3 seasons and the offensive coordinator since 2007. Yale has reached 4 of the past 5 NCAA tournaments out of the Ivy League. He also was a founder of the Bulldog Lacrosse Club in 2007, and that is a program that has merged to become Team Connecticut now, of which Niemi is the associate director. So we congratulate Coach Niemi and look forward to seeing him on the sidelines this year for Fairfield Prep. It was also announced yesterday the 2016 Game Time CT preseason top 10 that featured several FCIAC teams, including the preseason #1 team, defending state champion Darien High School. New Canaan came in at second, and Staples, the lone other FCIAC team, was number 6 to make the top 10. Make sure you turn into Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock today when we are joined by Dave Rudin of the Rudin Report. We'll have a look at this poll and some of the other FCIAC teams that were receiving votes. That's going to do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Let's send it back over to Kate.
Thanks so much, Frank. Back to some news today. Officials in Fairfield say that working smoke detectors and a quick response from Fairfield firefighters helped save an elderly couple and their house on Tuesday afternoon. The fire was reported around noon in the basement of 63 Lockwood Road. The fire engine company arrived in less than 5 minutes from the time of alarm and reported seeing smoke coming from the front door of the house. The elderly occupants had evacuated the building prior to the fire department arriving and directed firefighters to the basement, where, according to officials, they encountered blackout conditions. Fire personnel quickly located the fire and extinguished it with hose lines, preventing it from spreading to the first floor. And in other news, a Trumbull man is facing charges after police allegedly caught him with what they called a mobile drug factory on August 31st. According to reports, a security guard at a Lindemann Drive business waved down a passing police car around 10 o'clock at night and told the officer that there was a car parked with occupants inside in a back corner of a parking lot. As the officer approached the car, he reported being able to smell marijuana, and he also recognized the backseat passenger as 20-year-old Brian Gamaro of Old Town Road. After waiting for backup, the officer searched the car and reported finding 2 sandwich bags of marijuana, 3 more empty bags, and other assorted drug paraphernalia, including a scale, more plastic bags, and rubber bands, which are all products typically used in packaging drugs. According to reports, Gamaro had also $2,000 worth of assorted bills in the seat pocket within reach, and the driver, whose name was not released due to his age, had marijuana in the car's cup holder and $220 in cash in his pocket. Gamaro was charged with possession with intent to sell, as well as possession with intent to sell within 1,500 feet of a school, and drug paraphernalia in a drug factory. And how tall is too tall for downtown Darien buildings? That was the main topic as the Planning and Zoning Commission continued deliberations over zone changes in downtown Darien, with one less commissioner than expected on Tuesday night. Richard Dodonna entered his resignation over the Labor Day holiday, leaving a vacant seat on the 6-member Darien Commission. Though the process for finding a replacement has already begun, his decision comes ahead of impactful deliberations over zone changes in downtown proposed by Baywater Properties. Baywater is seeking changes to building height restrictions and parking requirements in the area of the Post Road and Corbin Drive in order to redevelop a large portion of Darien's central business district. Baywater's downtown redevelopment project has garnered large public support for his potential. You can see a rendering there, but it's not without controversy. P&Z Commission Chairman Susan Cameron addressed a social media email campaign that was launched ahead of Tuesday's deliberations, but after the public hearing on the zoning changes had ended. She said, "We love to get public input on projects, and we request input from the public. But over the last 10 days, after the close of the public hearing, we were sieged by emails, many inappropriate emails." There's much more on that story at DarienTimes.com. And in much lighter news, Ridgefield's Farmingville Elementary School has a new ADA-compliant playscape that was installed over the summer by a team of community volunteers. The playscape is designed so students can learn a lesson in accessibility and inclusivity, according to organizers. Branchville and Barlow Mountain schools in town have also received the funding necessary, thanks in large part to behind-the-scenes efforts of parents to have their own all-inclusive playgrounds built with the necessary pathways for access. Much more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. But we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to be recapping some of the top area stories we're following today after this.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with the Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ing for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Wednesday, where we bring you all the top stories for Connecticut sports.
From players and coaches' interviews to expert opinions with local sports editors, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
We're back on this Wednesday edition of Your Coffee Break on the HAN Network, taking a look at some of the top stories that we're following today, including an update on a story we brought you yesterday. Wilton police have ruled out that a golf club or a baseball bat were used during an altercation at the Wilton football field between students from Ridgefield and Wilton on August 31st. In a statement to the Wilton Bulletin, Lieutenant Stephen Brennan also said that no arrests would be made in that incident at this time. A Ridgefield football player was sent to the hospital last Wednesday night after a fight between the two groups of students. Wilton police confirmed earlier Friday that Ridgefield students had gone down to Wilton High as part of a scavenger hunt for seniors. Sources said one of the items on the scavenger hunt was to urinate on Wilton High's football field, and that spurred the conflict. And a New Haven man was charged Friday in connection to a hit-and-run incident that killed an Ansonia bicyclist back in December 2015 along Bridgeport Avenue in Shelton. On September 2nd, 36-year-old rider Kingsley of New Haven surrendered himself to Shelton police at their headquarters, where he was charged with negligent homicide with a motor vehicle and evading responsibility in connection to that hit-and-run accident that killed Brian Buzz Klimas back on December 23rd. Klimas was the husband of 32 years to Karen Klimas, a father of 3 children, and he had 1 grandchild. And in Milford, 2 men were arrested September 3rd and charged with stealing tires off of cars at Courtney Honda on Bridgeport Avenue at about 3:45 in the morning. Milford police officers were dispatched to Courtney Honda in the early morning hours on the report of suspicious men walking around the lot. While en route to the scene, officers were notified that video surveillance being viewed by a staff member who was off-site showed the 2 men taking tires off of the cars in the lot and leaving them on cinder blocks. Officers established a perimeter, forcing the suspects to attempt to hide in the lot. Using the department K-9 team, including K-9 Czar, police contained the suspects and shortly thereafter apprehended 30-year-old Luis Rodriguez of New Haven and 29-year-old Ishmael Mercado, also of New Haven. Both were taken into custody. Mercado was treated on the scene for an injury sustained when he attempted to run from K-9 Czar. Rodriguez and Mercado had attempted to take $4,000 worth of tires and did approximately $500 worth of damage to a nearby fence. And the Connecticut Post reports that 2 teenagers have been charged with firing into a backyard party in Bridgeport over the weekend, wounding 2 women and a 9-year-old boy. 19-year-old Owen Hines and 18-year-old Tavon Reed, both of Bridgeport, were charged Monday with 3 counts each of first-degree assault, reckless endangerment, as well as illegal use of a firearm and failure to have a pistol permit. On Saturday, police said there was a family gathering in the backyard of a home on Anson Street when the two defendants began firing at partygoers. One woman was shot in the chest and is in critical condition at St. Vincent's Medical Center. A second woman was in good condition after being shot in the thigh. Police say a 9-year-old boy was hit in both legs and the abdomen with bullet fragments, but is in good condition. One of the partygoers ended up chasing the defendants to a house on Whitney Avenue where police say Reed's mother lives. Police said witnesses told them that the previous night, one of those partygoers had gotten into a dispute with one of the defendants. And finally, the 11th annual Milford Irish Festival will take place Friday, September 16th and Saturday, September 17th in downtown Milford. The festival will have Irish music, dancing, culture, food and drink, of course, and plus a variety of Irish wares for sale. Admission to that event is $5 on Friday and $12 Saturday per person. Hours are 6 to 11 Friday and 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, and that's rain or shine. The festival takes place at the Fowler Field Rotary Pavilion behind the Milford Public Library at 57 New Haven Avenue. But let's throw it over to Frank now for one final look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Again, partly sunny today. Temperatures in the mid to high 80s. Winds have slowed down a little bit, but there'll still be some big gusts up around 18 to 20 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, and humidity will start to be on the climb before Thursday morning. Mostly sunny on Thursday. Temperatures in the high 80s with humidity way up. Mostly cloudy overnight. Very warm and humid. Could be a chance for a thunderstorm or two scattered in there. Friday will be the warmest day of the week, mostly sunny skies all day long. Temperatures making their way up into the 90s. Could feel as close to 96 or 97 with the humidity, and that humidity will be around from dawn until dusk as we get ready for the opening weekend of high school football. It's going to be a perfect weekend for it, Kate.
I know, we are so excited about that. All right, thank you so much, Frank. Still a busy day coming up for the HAN Network. 12:30 CT Pulse, myself and Josh Fisher have State Representative Dan Carter on. He's challenging U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal. We're going to be talking to him. And we also have a lot of news to cover. And of course, Nutmeg Sports coming up at 2. I know, Frank, you have Dave Rudin on. It's going to be a great show.
We'll have Dave Rudin. We'll also have Tim Murphy, too. So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you all later. We'll be back for coffee break tomorrow at 11. Have a great day.